Hello students, how are you all? So we are back. Here we will discuss about the measurement of force. How we can measure the force. In our last discussion, I told you that there is the force called gravitation force. What is that? The earth attract everything towards its center. So that is nothing but that create the weight of the body, and that attraction force is known as Earth gravitation attraction force. All right. This value is 9.8 Newton, where Newton, that means capital N, is the SI unit of force. That is the SI unit of force. This is very important question. You can mark it in your book. All right. So from whose name it is coming? It is coming from Sir Isaac Newton's name. He actually discovered the force, the idea behind the gravitation and lots of things. And in his name, we can say the SI unit of force, that is N or Newton. All right. So why 9.n is the attraction force of Earth? This is actually explained by that the if some body having the mass, if some body having the mass of 1 kg, then the Earth will attract that object with 9.8 Newton of force, and that is known as the Earth attraction force value. You should also remember that 1 kgf, that should be equal to 9.8 Newton. So what I told you over here, which are the important ones? That SI unit of force, by whose name it is coming. Now after that, kgf, what is that? Kilogram force. And 1 kgf equal to 9.8 Newton. Remember all these things. So many short question is in this small part. So that is our first thing where we discuss about the measurement of force. Now coming to friction force. What is that? Friction. Suppose I just gave you two ideas over here. One is smooth surface, another is rough surface. And I told you to just give some force on a body or a box is there. You have to push it to move it forward. So just think that which one is difficult for you. Is that the smooth surface or the rough surface? Just pause this video and write your answer in the comment section. After that, now just see that. If the smooth surface is there, you can easily push the box, it will move forward. But it will quite harder or quite difficult to push the body when it is in a rough surface. But why this is happening? What is the main reason behind it? That is the friction force. So what is this friction force? Friction force always act opposite of the moving body. If the body moving in this side, then the friction force will act in that opposite side. And where it will act? It will act at the place or at the contact point of the body with the surface. I just told you two things, write it down. Friction force will act oppositely on a moving body, and where it will act? At the contact place or the contact point of the body with the surface. So as you can see, as the body is moving in this direction, so the friction force that is working in the opposite direction. Now this friction force is acting on the contact surface of the body with the ground. So this is the main reason why it is feeling more difficult to push the body in a rough surface comparing to a smooth surface. Remember that friction is always there. Either it's a smooth surface or it's a rough surface. But the comparison is that in smooth surface it is very low, and in rough surface the friction force is very high. That is the reason behind it. Alright. Acha. Let me give you another idea over here. The friction force is also depend upon the mass, or the you can say, or the weight of the body and the surface area of the body. Why so that? Let me discuss one more example over here. Suppose this is a surface, quite not very smooth and not very rough, quite moderate surface. And there are two objects are there. This is a bigger object and this is a smaller object. So you can say that which one having greater area. I'm assuming this one having greater area, A suffix B, that is big area, and this is A suffix S, that is small area. So I will say that the friction force will be greater in this one. This friction force F1 is greater than the F2, the friction force of second. So you can write it as F1 is greater than the F2. But why so? I told you that the friction force is act on the place where the body touch the ground. That is the contact point of the body with the surface or the ground. So if you increase the area, if you increase this contact area, as you can see, this is a big contact area comparing to the lower one. So as the contact area is higher in the first one, so the friction will also be higher. That is the reason. I hope you get that idea. Now coming to the second dependency. The first dependency is areas, surface area. Coming to the second dependency, that is the weight of the body. All right. Suppose this is a big stone. Okay. And this is a cardboard box. I gave you two things, a stone and a box. So if I say to push them, you are quite small comparing to the stone. Just get that idea that the stone is very big. So can you push that? No, because the weight of that stone is very high. So whenever the body is very heavier, that means the weight is very high, then the friction force will be also very high. What I told, if the weight is heavy, then if the object is heavy, then the friction will be also more. But for the next condition, you can see we have a cardboard box that is quite lighter. So you can say the friction force is very less. So it is also depending upon the weight of the body. So we got two ideas over here, that is the surface area and the dependency of friction in it, and the weight of the body and dependency of friction in that. In next part, we will discuss about the type of friction. Till then, keep studying, and what I told in this video, just write it as a note and also mark that all things that I have mentioned. So, thank you all.